Welcome to the Spitter Swallow Beer Review, my friends. Shagdog here. I am drinking Kentucky. I'm not a big fan of Kentucky, but I always buy them when I get a chance, I guess. I might have done this one once before, I can't remember. Bourbon Barrel Cocoa Porter. This gets a 87 by Beer Advocates, considered Imperial Porter, 8% ABV. Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Cocoa Porter is brewed with cocoa nibs and 100% barrel aged to build out a rich, full-body porter with notes of bittersweet chocolate, roasted malts, oak, vanilla, and rounded out with a sweet toffee finish. So on that note, I'm not a big not cocoa porter, but bourbon barrel stout or porter. Not a big fan of bourbon barrel. And where's my bottle opener? It might be a twist off, I don't know, but we always use a bottle opener so we don't have to second guess ourselves. And there is the cap for you cat pervs, a nice little horse head there. Shout out to Horseheads, New York. And a shout out to Toast Wine and Beverage. That's where I buy most of my beers from in Augusta, Georgia. I figured, well, why not buy a glass today and give them a shout out. Toast Wine and Beverage. All right, let's give it a pour. Not a real heavy pour, but lots of head. And some reason I'm getting a bad connection lately. I'm connected directly, but I don't know what's going on. Could be the internet, Who knows? The humidity outside, I don't know. It's like 90% humidity. Could be that. Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for that to go down, let's give it a sniff. Definitely smell the cocoa and the bourbon, vanilla, maybe a little bit of that oak, bourbon oak barrel. It smells pretty good, actually. Chocolate, maybe a little toffee in there. It smells pretty good. We'll see how I like the taste. It's just that bourbon barrel taste. But sometimes all those other things smooths that barrel out. So I have been pleasantly surprised sometimes with some of these bourbon barrel porters and stouts. I'm dead tired, but let's do this. I figure I get one or two in and then go to bed. Cheers, Kentucky. Not bad. It's pretty smooth. Definitely the cocoa, chocolate cocoa nibs or whatever, vanilla, the bourbon barrel oak, but it's not strong, so those other things are blending well with it. The vanilla, they're pretty good. Almost, they say toffee finish, but almost the vanilla and chocolate. To me, I almost get like a marshmallow finish, kind of like not like so much like a s'mores or whatever, but I guess a s'mores, well, more of a marshmallow, I guess. Maybe it is like a toffee, but yeah, we'll just go with that. How about if it was a s'mores toffee candy there at the end to finish? There you go. I'm not a big fan of these guys. Most of their beers I've had, I'm like, it's all right, but it's okay. I mean, I could drink these. If someone says, "Hey, I got a Kentucky," I might say, "Oh, yeah, I remember that. It was all right." And I'll drink it. I wouldn't be like, that shit's horrible or anything. I'm supposed to. Someone told me I need to stop cursing on this show. So now it does have a weird aftertaste, though. Give us a shout out here in Kentucky. Also, is this a big selling beer? This is Alltech Lexington Brewery and Distillery. It's in Kentucky, I believe. Give us a shout. Comment if you're in Kentucky and you've had this or you live by the brewery, what you think about them. Yeah. Or if you've had this beer before or any of their beers. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. It's just a weird aftertaste. It's like a staleness or something through the aftertaste. Pretty weird. I like their label. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but it's got like Kentucky at the top with the horse. Yeah, Kentucky Derby, right? Bourbon Barrel Cocoa Porter. Yeah. I don't know how much business. I mean, I've seen this here in South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. So obviously it sells. All their beers they have. I don't know how many beers they have, but we've done quite a few of them. I did vanilla porter. Let's see what other beers they got. I know they do have a lot of porters, don't they? Let's see. Shit. My internet's going slow or my computer's going slow. I don't know. Not too bad. Probably should have done this one second. My other beer is a red IPA. I'm not sure how much I'll look at because yeah, they got a few beers, not a bunch, but peach beer. I mean, all the beers they have. I'm just gonna tell you how many I've done. 1, 2. Not sure about that one. 3 maybe. Wow, they got an Irish Red Ale. I've never seen that. Maybe it comes out during St. Patrick's Day. Who knows? 4. I've probably done 5 or 6 beers by these guys. Maybe even more. I don't know. But it looks like they got about 20 beers that they brew that at least showing on Beer Advocate. So, yeah. So, everybody, what's your favorite beer? What type of bourbon barrel beer do you like? I'm not a big bourbon barrel fan myself, but I did do the bourbon barrel. I did one a couple months ago. It was pretty good, actually. I can't remember it offhand. Shame. I messaged Jam earlier today. I asked him if he's going to do beer reviews tomorrow. Never responded back to me. And he sent me a couple videos. Didn't respond to my question. So I'm going to guess he might be able to do beer reviews tomorrow, but just in case, I'm doing 2 today. I went out beer shopping today. I bought like about 33 beers, I think. 33 bottles of beer on the wall. Mostly cans, actually. This is one of the 3 that I have left from the last beer run. But today was probably my biggest haul in a while. Usually I get about 20, 24. And today I came home with about 33 beers. And isn't that something to do with the Masons or something? 33. Also Rolling Rock beer. Well, my little friends. Yeah, so what would I give this? Yeah, let me give it one more sip. It's not bad. The only thing I hate is a little bit of that finish, that toffee taste, or whatever you want to call it. Just the finish I don't like, and then a little bit of the aftertaste I don't like. Besides that, it's good. I'd probably give it a B- and a swallow. B- and a swallow. There you go. Yeah. Now the other, speaking of this liquor store here in Augusta, Georgia, Toast Wine and Beverages, or Toast Wine and Beverage. The other one I go to is there's two in the Augusta area. There's one in main Augusta, and then there's one in it's either in Evans or Martinez. It's called Augusta Beverage. Augusta Beverage. Let me Googleize that. Make sure I'm giving you the right info. Liquor store in Augusta, Augusta Beverage. Yeah, beverage outlet. It's called Beverage Outlet. There's actually an Augusta Beverage Center. I have to check that one out. But Augusta, or just a beverage outlet in Augusta, they don't have a real big selection. They do have more of the, like the Left Hand Brewing and, Southern Tier, some of those like craft brewers that distribute, at least East Coast. I don't know about West Coast, but some of those type of beers, even maybe some, beers from Colorado or something occasionally. These guys, mostly Georgia craft beers. There are some, from North Carolina. Then you occasionally have maybe a Sierra Nevada, one or two, maybe. I'm trying to think of some other ones. The Abitas they have, but they don't sell the Abitas singles. You can only buy those in a 6-pack. But they usually have 4 or 5 different types of Abita. But I don't like buying a 6-pack, so. And they do have some German beers, but a lot of them too also. German, Belgian. They did have a couple Belgian beers that they sold singles, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing any Belgian beers by myself. But all the German beers, mostly all the imports you got to buy the whole 6-pack, which is a shame. Now that some of the German bottles that are big bottles, like 17, was it like 17 ounces or 17.9 ounce, those type of bottles, they do sell those, single, but the other store has those usually a little cheaper. So you win some, you lose some, right? Not bad. Now there's Bourbon Barrel. Maybe it's just the ones that are like 11 or 12%. I just don't like these 8% ones, 9%. They're not too bad. Some of the ones I've had way back, 11, 12%. Some of those are a little too rough for me to drink. But this is all right. I'm having a feeling that this red IPA, it's a red double IPA. Next is going to be a hard one to drink, probably. But I'll do my best. That's what I do all the time here on the Spit or Swallow Beer Review. Shagdog does his best, and it must be. Oh, never mind. I'm trying to talk like JFK, but don't know where that was going. Could have been going the other guy that's in there right now, huh? Combination of both of them. I wonder if Jammer Fan could do a JFK impersonation. He does all the other presidents. I don't know about JFK. JFK is easy to do if you listen to him a little bit. Ich fein Berliner. No, I don't even sound like him there. I sound like friggin' Eleanor Roosevelt or something. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Mr. Khrushchev. Yeah. Okay. I've never been a good impersonator. Now, lately, I've been getting good at noticing people's body language habits. Like there's one guy at work, he's pulling something, he shrugs the shoulder. And then someone else caught something else he does where he'll open something up with a box cutter's big package, it's like 6 feet high or 7 feet high. And then he'll look at his phone, because, work phone. And then, so he'll look at the phone, leave. So he's supposed to be helping us. And then he rips that shit open, leaves. He's not even really helping us. He's helping himself, actually, because that particular job that he's doing, usually I do it, but if I don't have enough time to do it, he gets stuck doing it later. He might have to stay after work an extra 30 minutes or an hour to do it. So he does make sure he does it at that earlier in the shift, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I have enough time to do it, but oh, burpage. Now, I'm about to get off this. I'm just trying to think of something important to say because the times we live in, the times they are changing, but we need them to change back to the way they fucking used to be before. Because these youngins and even some of the old people that are 60s, 50s, 40s, there are a lot of people whacked in their head, man. And even, I'm not saying just the left, I'm saying the right too. I mean, why would you dress up with a certain person's name on and go marching into, only two or three of you? One video I saw. Now, the one guy I saw, he just asked basic questions and they get upset at him. And they're like, I forget his name, Nick something. But today I saw another video, three dudes with their, TRUMP stuff on, and they went into a King's Day protest, and it's just, I mean, it triggers people just seeing that shit, But why would you do that? You're just causing trouble right there by going in there. Now, if you're at your protest, like you got some type of Trump celebration coming on, and then those people show up at yours, then you have a right to retaliate verbally against those people if they're talking smack to you then. But the same thing they're doing. But they're coming in there and just like giving the fingers, can't talk intellectually or give their... Now, some of them do. I'm not going to say all of them. Some of them will give their honest opinion. Some of them are stupid. But there are some that gives an educated, believe it or not, opinion. Like what they think about the illegals. Well, they're like, I think, they're even though they're not citizens, they're still have the right to due process and not be dragged out, not read any Miranda rights or shipped out, taken back to some country that they never lived in since they were 5 years old or whatever. Now I could probably kind of agree with that. Something, there's got to be some type of standard where, okay, we got to make sure this person is illegal. He's lived here all of his life. But they need to set them on track. Like, listen, you got to go through these steps to become a citizen, or else you're going back. You got 3 months or something. Or, I don't know. I guess the smart people need to figure that shit out. Because if someone's lived here since they're 5 years old and they've never become a citizen, and then here they are, 35, 40, now you're deporting them to some place they don't even know anybody. I mean, I could kind of understand that, But there's got to be some way they can figure that stuff out. But somebody that's a criminal here and just came in here in the last couple of years and they're wanted, whatever, put them on the plane. I say drop them off in parachutes. Matter of fact, have a buddy system parachutes with like 4 of them connected to one parachute, so that you save money on parachutes. And use the same parachutes like they use airborne. Those horrible things. Let them land hard. Oh boy, they're gonna land hard. All right. Anyhow, I don't like talking about that type of stuff, but I did. I don't know when the world got crazy. I mean, was it 2020 or 2000? Was it? I mean, because not everybody was pro-American actually. 2000 with the 911 thing. There's probably some people happy that actually happened. Sad to say. And then with the 2004 elections, I remember, I forgot who it was. One of these bigger internet people back then, somebody that's not so big now, but out there in the streets, wherever the hell they had the 2004, or was it the 2000 primaries in New York City? When was the last few times primaries were in New York for Republicans? Or not the primary, but what do you call the thing? Shit. Not the primaries, but they accept to become, the party's candidate. what's the thing called when a member accepts their party's thing to become president? Yes, but what's the big show? Convention. The convention, right? When was the last couple times that Republicans had their convention in New York City? Wow. 2004, yeah, that was the one. And this guy was out in the streets, and there was communists, straight up communists, had the swastika, not swastika, sickle and hammer, and there's all these crazy groups. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I never thought it'd get even worse today. What there's people out there fucking crazy. Anyhow, I think it's a small percentage, but when you see it on TV and that many people out there all at once, you got every Looney Tune from anywhere within a 200-mile radius of those cities. So am I kidding? No. Anyhow, Spitter Swallow Beer Review, Shagdog. We'll see you on the next one. I gotta quit talking about shit like that. I'm trying to talk about happy stuff. Damn it. Anyhow, we will see you on the next one. And I don't know if I have that on there. Huh. Don't know if that's on there anymore. All right. Thanks for watching Spitter Swallow Beer Review.